Well, Joe Rotella is here, and he has brought this amazing little book. Now, I know this looks like a box, but it's actually a book. So I'm going to pull it on out, and you will see it's this cool book, which is bound together in what is called a piano hinge. Is that right?
Absolutely, because it looks like the hinge in a door where the pieces fit together.
There you go. And if I flip it over, you can really see it's held together by all these skewers. And you have promised me that this is a simple book to put together.
So simple. Let me show you how we started. I decided my book was going to be 6 by 6, so I took a piece of paper that's 12 by 6, and we need to score it in half. And I've made a template.
I can see that template right here. And the reason that it's 12 by 6 is because it's 2 pages at once, right?
Correct, correct. So we're going to score it down the center at 6 inches, and then a ½ inch on either side. So 5½ and 6½.
So you have 3 score lines, just like you can see here on the template, and you're going to fold it at all 3 lines, all in the same direction.
Absolutely. And I use a scoring tool to give me a nice crisp fold, and the end result gives us something that looks just like this.
Very cool.
Now we need to mark where the hinge is going to go. And
oh, this is the measuring part. I don't like the measuring part.
This is the measuring part. So we're going to mark every inch.
Okay.
And you want to do it in pencil. Do it kind of light if you can.
Okay.
And then we're going to go on either side of that inch mark 1/8 of an inch. Because the bottom line here is we're trying to make that triangle shape. But this is hard to do. And if you have to do 6 pages and all this measuring.
Right.
So I made a little template.
I love a man who makes a template.
I'm going to give you one even. You can have one.
Thank you. And not only is Joe going to give me one, but he's going to give you one too, and it's on the Scrapbook Soup website.
So we're going to go ahead and mark all these triangles. And we'll
you
do it
this
on
in pencil
every
or
page.
pen? Does it matter? Are you going to cut it away?
Yeah, well, if your cutting's not great, you're going to want to use pencil so you can
so
erase.
do a pencil and do it a little bit light. We're doing it dark, obviously, so people can see it.
Absolutely. And so we're going to cut in on either side of the pencil mark to make all these little V shapes. And you can see they should pull right out. If not, you know, give them a little
Give it an extra little snip in there.
Use a good eraser then to take away.
You're so good. I would just be like, ugh,
these pencil marks.
I'm bored.
Well, no, I'm so fussy. Now comes the hinge part. So I've taken the pages, and you can see how they all line up. We're going to deal with 2 at a time, not the covers. I put the front and back covers aside.
So these are the inside pages.
These are the inside pages, and basically fold every other tab of the first page down just to get it out of the way. And I'm using a bamboo skewer. Something with a point is really helpful. And I'm going through the first outside sheet, then the dark color, then the light color, then the dark color.
So you're weaving, essentially.
And I'm leaving every other tab of the front one is empty. Every other tab of the back
one is empty. Okay, so now these 2 pages, like if I lift this skewer, may I steal this for a moment? They're totally together. This is bound.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
now
how
we're
are we
going to
getting
do the
third
same.
one on?
And when we start with the third one, we've already used the first tab of the dark color. So now we're going to go through the third page.
I think we actually haven't used the first
we haven't.
one. There you go.
It's hard to see.
It's hard to see when you're holding it away from yourself.
There you go.
But I'm on a different angle. So there you go. So you go through the one that you haven't used, and that's how you know where to start the every other, but you're continuing that same idea as weaving and every other.
And now that third page, actually it's the signature. The third signature is bound
now we're
to the
talking
first
about
2.
fancy bookbinding terms. You're
so
so
you're
smart.
a pro now. You're a pro now.
Smart.
And we just keep going through the whole process like that.
Okay, and we just keep weaving and doing it and going
Absolutely.
through. And I know that you were telling me that once you actually have all the little cuts in it, that goes quite fast. You actually had a bookmaking party where you had some friends over and you all did them together, right?
We did. And that's why I made the template, because it was too hard with everybody measuring.
Okay, now the cover. What do we do about the cover?
Look at where we are here on the first page. You can see that we have 3 tabs that we haven't used.
Right.
So I've got this cut for a cover, just like we did the other papers.
Okay, it's exactly the same. It started out as 12 by 6, the whole thing, yes.
But I don't need this first tab because I'm going to pick it up from this skewer.
Okay.
And I don't need the third, and I don't need the fifth.
Oh, you don't need every other.
So I'm going to just pop them in. Now I can glue this closed, weave this into this.
Oh, okay, so just to be entirely clear so that everybody understands, you've pushed these tabs inside. You're going to apply adhesive to the entire inside so it's completely solid. Oh, you're so good. You have one here that's already done. So this is now, and not only that, it makes your cover thicker and heavier so that this is just, it's like a single sheet of paper, but these, you did not put any adhesive in here.
Absolutely.
So now can you show me how you're going to attach this?
So we're going to go through, and I think I have that right. There we go.
There you go. Just turn it
We're
around.
going to go through that first tab of the cover, then the dark purple, then the cover, the dark purple, and you can see how fast it goes if you've got something with a little point.
So now, the other thing is you would do this at the back side, and that's how you
Same
have
way.
absolutely no loose tabs, right? And you gave me a great tip, which I was totally excited about, which is if you don't want those little points on the skewer.
You can saw these off, or you could cut them with pliers. When you cut them with these kind of pliers, though, it makes kind of a point.
Oh, it squishes them. I can see that.
Well, cat toenail clippers
Cat
are rounded,
toenail clippers?
and they give you a much nicer rounded edge.
Oh, I can see
And you can just hit it
that.
with a little sandpaper to make sure that nobody gets any little splinters or rough parts.
That is a smart idea. But now, aren't these skewers going to come out of the book?
They can slide
So how do you
in and
stop
out.
that?
So we're going to take some wax thread, and I'm going to do it here at the bottom. And you take the wax thread, and you basically weave the same way.
I see we have
around.
a weaving theme here
We have a weaving
overall.
thing. It's weavable.
So you're gonna keep weaving. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
And there we
so
go.
you've gone back, and I just want you to do that one more time. So basically, you did every other,
Around the top, under the bottom, around the top.
under the bottom, and then how do you go back the other way? You just loop it over.
Exactly. Now we're going to go over the top, under the bottom.
And then you tie it in a pretty knot. And I can see over here on this finished one that what you've done with the weaving here is you've actually added then onto those bits all these fabulous trinkets.
Trinkets from
I
garage
know.
sales and old jewelry. And to give it an ocean theme, we even used little swivels.
Very cool. And you gave me a tip, which is you said, we can see the skewers through here. And they're very decorative and beautiful. But you actually bought one at a craft fair, which we have down here, where that's not true. You can't see the skewers at all. And I noticed that the pages sort of form a checkerboard where they line up.
Yeah. And that's because instead of cutting the triangle, they just cut straight across at every inch mark.
So just like a
It's harder
slit.
to do.
You mean it's harder to do, meaning it's harder to weave, not harder to cut, right?
Yeah, you just have to make sure your cuts line up very well between all the signatures.
Okay,
But
and
it is
so
beautiful.
I think they're both beautiful. I personally am going to steal this from you, and you're not going home with it. And then you also said that this little book here, right, also has a little embellishment if you're looking for just a little less.
A little less.
Now, did you find blue skewers?
No, the cool thing is you can take the skewers. In this case, they're painted. The one next to it, they're stained. Instead of skewers, why not use pencils, paintbrushes?
love that idea.
Pussy willow branches are nice and straight, so you can get a real organic look. And it doesn't mean every scrapbook has to be 12 by 12.
I agree. And one of the things I like so much about this book, because of course now, once your book is together, you can embellish it any way you want, is look at that.
Look at that pocket. That's
It's a
easy to
pocket.
do. Instead of 12 by 6, make it 12 by 8, fold 2 inches up.
I love that idea. And let's talk about the box for a second that it's in, because one of the tips you gave me is a book like this that has these skewers extending from it, it won't stand up.
Nope.
But putting it in a box makes it decorative, and it's a way to do it. So you just made this box out of...
Just scraps of mat board.
Ah, what a great idea. So anytime you have leftover scraps from framing something or matting it, you can use it to make a lovely keepsake box.
I save everything.
Well, me too. We're craft hoarders. So
It's
thank
true.
you so much, Joe. I am excited to make a piano hinge book, maybe steal a piano hinge book.